back to hypnosis, right? So we're going to start with a pop quiz, and this is very important. How many hypnotists does it take to screw in a light bulb? Right, it just takes one, but it depends on how bad does the light bulb want to change. I don't necessarily think that hypnosis is always about making someone change or how bad they want to change, because most people want to change, right? That decision is easy as flipping a switch. What I think is most important is what is preventing the change? What is getting in the way of the change? We talk about suggestion so much, but what if the magic happened before the suggestion? Before the identity was even created, right? So that's kind of where I would like to start. I'm going to talk about hypnotic branding. And first I'm going to start with talking about something called the zero state. I'm writing a book about this place called the zero state, and it's really just about a hypnotic state where there's no mental noise. There's very, very low interference. Let me start by introducing myself. So my name is Dr. Pamela Monet-Baden. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor. So I graduated from naturopathic medical school a few years ago. Met these lovely people with the blue scrubs back here. Those are like my hypnosis family. They got me.
We love you.
Yeah, my guard dog is over there too. Right? He's not a baby, so if you guys talk during my set, he will bite your ankles.
Good luck.
Ended up learning hypnosis for myself because when I was in school, I started becoming an avoidant, which is someone who doesn't like to open their mail or follow up on emails, and then you create worse problems for yourself. Started doing street hypnosis first. So I kind of learned backwards, right? I learned hands-on and then in the classroom. Then from there, figured that I wanted to introduce hypnosis more to people who've never seen hypnosis before. So I started going to comedy clubs and doing stand-up comedy. Getting booked for that, bringing my hypnosis into my sets sometimes. And so now if you see me online, you might see me on these world tours doing 20, 30, 40, 50 countries at a time.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Get it.
Which is a big deal for women hypnotists, any hypnotists, but especially ladies in hypnosis. And let's see, what else do I have? So yeah, I do comedy, stage, clinical, and street hypnosis. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'm a cancer survivor. So I have all these different backgrounds that kind of contribute to this book that I'm writing about the zero state. And this presentation, I don't have a bunch of slides. I don't have a bunch of just like a lecturing. It's going to be a lot of questions. We're going to have a little bit of conversation. I'm going to do a demonstration if anybody would like. We're going to talk a lot about neuroscience and branding. So bringing it back to zero state, and the big idea of this talk is most people chase attention, right? And icons, they create attention instead of chasing attention. Because attention is borrowed, and your identity is owned. So once you become an icon, you're basically cultivating something deep inside of yourself that no one can take away from you, right? We don't really like the word idol per se, but an icon, you can be in your own right. Whether that's your icon mom, your icon sports player, your icon hypnotherapist, your icon, however that means to you. And how I like to start this technique whenever I do hypnotherapy is starting with the zero state. Now what the zero state is high awareness and low interference. And this means that before we even start the therapy, we're not just adding on something. We're not just meeting the people where they're at and just fixing everything that they ask you to do. First, we're going to remove interference. So the brain becomes most receptive when it stops arguing with itself. So when your brain stops arguing with itself, this is what it kind of looks like. When you're driving home and you don't really remember the last few minutes. The moment before you sleep and your thoughts are kind of dissolving. These are zero states. When you're painting and you're getting completely absorbed in your painting and you don't even realize the last few brush strokes you did, or your makeup and it just came out perfect, right? When the athletes are describing the game slowing down, in the FIFA game, they don't notice that it's a 90 90-minute game. Time changes for them sometimes. Sometimes when you're playing music and you don't think about the next note. Those are examples of zero state. In real life, zero state, how I started researching it, and I came up with formulas and graphs for it that will be in the book, but I'm not going to bring it up today, is once I became a hypnotist, I started getting advice, right? With fetishes, and they were sexualizing things that are actually therapeutic modalities, right, ladies? Hey! Well, I'm gonna break it down for you then, okay? I used to get a lot of people who wanted to be zombies, or bimbos, or babies, Barbies, men, specifically, especially, right? And so maybe I'll get some stories from you ladies too, but I kept wondering, like, why do people just want to be like a mindless blank slate and just be staring at me like with drool, just like it's not erotic, you know, like we haven't gotten there or anything, they're just like staring at me. And what it is it's their lowest interference pattern, right? You're quieting their analytical mind. It's the identity before the labels. It's before the brand. It's relief from self-monitoring. It's relief from having to think about who you're supposed to be. That's like the zero state. Babies are very, very good at it, right? Babies simply exist in zero state. Adults spend years trying to get back to that state. So if I have a client who asks me to hypnotize them to feel like a baby, which, you know, he had the pacifier and everything, it's just a weird experience, but he was very masculine. He lets me speak about his case. He's a firefighter. And so he said, as a big man, he doesn't get held a lot, he doesn't get a lot of nurturing, and he just wants to tap into his feminine side, which we possess both sides, right? And however you want to express that is up to you. So zero state reflects what amongst humans, amongst animals, amongst AI, there's calculations that I will have in a book that I'm writing that's not done yet, so no one report me for trying to sell anything because it doesn't exist. Still working on it. Let me ask a few questions, and I would like to know you ladies' experiences with the zero state clients, but how does it feel when your mind finally gets quiet?
I'll let you know.
Right.
Blissful.
Peaceful?
Blissful.
Blissful. Okay.
Expansive.
Expansive. And that's why some clients request the zombie stage or bimbo stage. I'm gonna call it the zero stage. Sounds better because it's blissful. Takes you out of the the driver's seat. Ladies, have you noticed anything interesting that you want to talk about with clients who come with like certain fetishes where they kind of just not want to be in control?
Like, I have a man that just wants to be a mannequin. Just wants to stand there and hold candles. Or be furniture.
Be furniture. Right.
Like,
yeah.
That's all.
So,
That's fascinating.
A lot of those guys are in high pressure jobs where they're
high pressure jobs.
Right, they don't
decision
get
making
to
rules.
see.
So turn me into a footstool and control me, and I'm like,
Yeah, it almost feels like I don't really want to.
you're a hot young dude.
Yeah, like why are you going through this? Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Right. So that's kind of where my research started. But what I noticed is when I put people into zero state prior to doing therapy, it breaks down a lot of resistance, it breaks down the old identities. So it's almost like we're backtracking a little bit before we start doing therapy. A major part of this icon maker method is called the identity gap. I want you to imagine a Venn diagram. One side, and you can draw this on your paper. One side is the past, who you were, your old identity. The other side is the future, who you're becoming. And the middle is basically you integrating and acting like what you want to be. So I did a poll before you guys came here, and it said, what do you think is more important in becoming an icon? Do you think it's more important who you were, or do you think it's more important who you're becoming? we're 50-50. Yeah, so why do you think so before I tell you why it is 50-50? Anybody have an idea? It seems like it would be like who you're becoming, right?
Yeah.
Well, icons aren't created by escaping their past. They're created by integrating it, right? No matter how bad you want to be Michael Jordan, right? No matter how bad Casey wants to be Michael Jordan, she still has hair. She's not exactly Michael Jordan. She'll be Casey as Michael Jordan. So you cannot be someone else. That's completely impossible. I don't care if you recreate yourself, rebrand yourself. You are still a part of your past, but you don't have to be trapped inside of your past story, right? And if you're trapped in your future and focusing only on who you're becoming, then you're chasing a fantasy. So icons live somewhere right in the middle. So, for example, most people have the skills that they want, but like I said, their nervous system is surrounded around the old identity. So for example here, let's just say you're a very great, you're a great hypnotist, you're great at talking to people, but you're not so good at putting your content on the internet or pushing yourself out there, right? You have the skill, you know what to do, but for some reason, you smile, right? Because a few of us have dealt with that. It's like your identity isn't caught up with who you're becoming. So this is a little bit better than fake it till you make it, but that's sort of what that bridge is. You want to start behaving as if you have your results. So the identity gap is right where you create the icon identity. It's the version of you that behaves like the person that you're becoming. All this you can do under hypnotherapy. So basically what we're trying to say is that your identity should change before your business card does. Stop trying to sell things that you fully haven't stepped into, okay? We want to be congruent. We want to walk it like how we talk it. So, icon, do I have a pen here? No, not really, but you guys do. We're going to write down icon and what it stands for. Of course, the I is going to be for identity. So who are you beneath those labels? The C is going to be for congruence. So this is that bridge. You want your thoughts, your words, your values, your behavior, your appearance, your communication at all to point in the same direction. You don't want it going this way. It's like you communicate this way and you do something this way, but your goals are this way. You want to all get them to go in one direction. So when you're doing hypnotherapy, ask people questions around these topics and structure the therapy to go towards one direction. It's really hard to get someone to achieve the results that they want and they're behaving different. It's not congruent, right? The O is going to be for ownership. So you want to own your story, you want to own your gifts, you want to own your voice. And the N is going to be for narrative. So at the end, when you get to that N, you want to repeatedly live a story that people recognize. Your repetition is built by the patterns you consistently demonstrate, not by what you say about yourself.
Could you say what you just said, the last two things, in a different way?
About like ownership and narrative, or about
Repetition by narrative.
Okay. So the story that you repeatedly live becomes the story that people recognize. You can claim that you're something, or you can claim that you're going to be something. You're going to be the world's greatest hypnotist. You want to be this, you want to do that, but the story that you repeatedly live, the energy that you give off, the energy that you give off to people that you walk in, what you do day to day, what your social media looks like, unfortunately. That's gonna be like your narrative. That's the thing that people can't take away from you. You know, if someone tries to challenge your character, or if someone tries to change your mind about yourself, like your narrative is really built on repetition and getting, I think it's not just positive hallucination, but getting all the dynamics of what you want to be to go in one positive direction. So just really, once you're comfortable in your narrative, it's really hard to deviate away from it. So we don't want to just do a hypnosis session and just make people think, oh, they changed overnight. We really want to start just building up the whole character so that they're living it. So it's hard to break. It's hard to tell LeBron James or someone, you know, that they're not a basketball player, or they don't do what they do when they do it every day. They talk it every day, they walk it every day. So,
Thank you.
you're so welcome. In a big scheme of things, we're gonna say, for our clients, we're gonna first return them to zero. We're gonna blank them out, however you best see fit. You might have your own technique. You might do a zombie mannequin type thing. You might want to do a little game with them first, however you do your hypnotherapy. Then we get them to choose what they want to be. Maybe make them do the Venn diagram. Get them to talk about who they were in the past, who are they becoming. See which parts overlap in the middle, the bridge there. Then when you do the icon maker method part, you have them embody the identity. And what you'll notice in your clients afterwards, or maybe even over time, sometimes immediately, depends on your client, right? You'll notice not necessarily like how they feel about themselves, but you'll notice a change in behavior. So you should maybe see someone standing up straighter posture, different breathing techniques. They're not breathing from up top with anxiety. They'll have more relaxed facial expressions, or they'll look you more in the eye, be a little bit more confident. You don't always have to claim a permanent personality change. You know, we just want to start to get the ball rolling, the shift. It's like an avalanche. Small shift, behavior changes, identity change. It'll start rolling. If you want to make a package and do more than one appointment, which I recommend you do anyway, these are some of the things you might start seeing in your clients once they are doing the identity shift. And like I said, the goal isn't becoming someone else. It's removing enough interference so that who you really are can show up consistently. We all do our jobs better when we just feel like we're being authentic in who we really are. By knowing that you can't go backwards, you can only go forwards. And 3, eyes wide awake. How y'all doing? It's a nice little visualization. Besides the hollering, you guys have an audience in the background. I wanted to really leave it open to hypnotize in the way that you all hypnotize, but just sort of give you like my thought process. Add me on social media. I go by Hypno Goddess. I have to warn you, I do have a lot of crazy stand-up comedy and I have a lot of fun on social media, but you know, that's just what I like to do in my free time. But I really appreciate you all being here. Let me get a photo real quick if you don't mind of the class, because I don't think HypnoThoughts is going to be here in Vegas anymore, right?
No.
Yeah, here we go.